And now for a video I've had pretty long in the making here. So with Bleach, we have the New Breaths of Hell chapter, or New Breaths from Hell chapter, and there's a lot of things that have come out from that lost speculation. Hopefully, we'll end up getting more chapters. I have to assume we will. You can't just imply a new arc and then never do anything with that, Kubo. You just can't do that. That's just dirty, man. But one of the things that got brought up is it's going to be a hell arc, talking about hell, and the idea that the captains and high class spiritual approaches were not recycled into the reincarnation factor, but sent to hell. And now the gates of hell are kind of just bursting open because there's an imbalance. Well, one of the theories that we have been given about this is the whole idea that many of the characters and captains that we have come to like, enjoy, and all that may have to stay in hell to keep balancing things out, or to keep balances of some kind. More or less, what will end up happening here is we will end up seeing the end of a lot of like the current Gotei 13 as it stands. We'll end up seeing a lot of characters appear. So this then asks the question for me, well, if that happens, what would the next Gotei 13 ultimately look like? So that's ultimately what we're going to try to ask today. So first and foremost, what is the current Gotei 13? What does it currently look like? Well, to do that, we have to go down the list of our current captains and who we have in their place. So without further ado, let's get the Soul Society up here for a little message board. Boop. I'd use this as opposed to that background because the captain images stood out a lot better. So obviously, our first the captain of the head captain of the first division is Shunsui Kyoraku. He is our big guy. He's the big guy in charge right now. Then we obviously also have at Squad 2, we have Soifon there, who's the head of the stealth force, stealth corps, all that. She is the one in charge of Squad 3. Then coming in for Squad 2, sorry. Then coming in at Squad 3, we have Rose. Rose is the captain of Squad 3 currently. He was the first captain, well, not first, but his first captain we knew of, or the earliest captain of Squad 3, and he ultimately got the position back when he came back. And he's still currently the captain of Squad 3. Then our current 4th division captain falls in the lovely category of the ever enigmatic, ever adorable Isane. Isane is our current 4th division captain. Rounding out the top 5 spot, well, top 5 as the 5th division captain. We have the old captain, who is now the current captain again. We have Shinji. Shinji is the current captain again of the 5th division. And obviously, Byakuya, or the Big B himself, the fan favorite. Where is he? There he is. Yeah, and obviously, Byakuya is the captain of Squad 6 right now still. He's still the Squad 6 captain. And then, obviously, we have Squad 7's captain is currently Tetsuzayamon Iba, who we have right here. Squad 8's captain currently is still... Where did she go? There she is. Is currently... our Squad 8's captain is currently Lisa. Then Squad 9's captain is still currently Kensei, who we have right here. Then Squad 10, we still have Toshiro. Where is he? I believe that's him right there. We have Toshiro still Squad 10. Obviously, one of our fan favorites, the Big G himself, Kenpachi. He's still Squad. He's actually going to go right. There we go. He's still Squad 11's captain. And obviously, the last two are Mayuri bringing up the rear at number 12, and then finally Rukia is our 13th captain in as the Squad 13th division's captain. God, this was a messy image to make. Now, first and foremost, we have to ask the question: if we are losing captains, who are we losing? So I had to think on this for a while, and I came to the conclusion of this. So first and foremost, none of the new captains we got, like the most recently established captains we got, would be disappearing. And they're like this current generation. So Rukia is staying, Lisa is staying, Tetsuzayama is staying, and Asane is staying. I also do not think we will lose Toshiro. He's still a young captain. Even though feels duty bound, he's still too young of a captain for us to lose. I can't see a real story reason for us losing him. And last but not least, I debated Soifone, but I think Soifone has the same issue that someone like a Rukia or a Toshiro has. She's still very young, has a lot of growing to do. So I think from a standpoint on that, like that, she would stay. But if we're going to go now down the list, or up the list, whatever you want to say, I think the first one gone would be, and he's just disappearing right there. The first one to be gone would be Shunsui himself. I think it makes sense that he's the oldest captain left. He's the current captain commander. So I think him staying behind, maybe with like Ukitake and stuff like that, and the old man, would make sense for him to go. So Ukitake would be the first one gone. I also think that you would most likely end up seeing, you would most likely end up seeing Rose go. I think Rose honestly probably should have died in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. We lost Yamamoto, we lost Ukitake, and we lost Unohana. That's a lot of heavy losses to be taking. But frankly, I just don't see a reason why we couldn't have lost maybe more. I mean, I don't hate Rose by his first means, but I think he's one of the old guard too. Like he was he was 3 generations back from the current generation of the Gotei 13. He was there and turned back to the Pendulum. He was the Squad 3 captain. So I think Rose going would make a lot of sense. And sadly, that brings me to one of the fan favorites, who I think would also make sense us losing. That would be Shinji. Shinji, again, is just an old guard character. He's also someone who understands the consequences of things and knows how to weigh pros and cons. And I think he'd be someone who, frankly, would volunteer to stay back, knowing what it would mean. Plus, he's also a visor, so that gives him an extra boost in many ways to help keep things stable. So I think Shinji, we would also lose Shinji as well. And another character that I'm pretty certain was supposed to die. I think a lot of us feel, a lot of us who read the 1,000-Year Blood War and were just like, really, he's still around. Byakuya, because Byakuya, apart from the Asnot thing, Byakuya is kind of just a footnote. Like he shows off a new technique against Gerard, but he doesn't really have any strong story elements within the 1,000-Year Blood War outside of almost dying. And then coming back to save Rukia. I think, honestly, he was supposed to die, and then there was a lot of backlash. I think this would be the time for him to fully pass the torch onto, Rukia in terms of, the Kuchi. Even though she's not a Kuchiki by blood, she still is, a Kuchiki. So, I do see Byakuya I do see him being left behind, or staying in hell, or being finally killed, whatever. I do see him finally, leaving. So Byakuya would be the next one gone. Likewise, again, another character that was a captain well and truly long before, most of our generation here, Kensei. Another character that probably should have died in the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. Honestly, he probably should have, but he didn't. And he's still around, but I think if we were going to be losing captains, he's a good candidate for us to be losing one. So I think Kensei. I will also say Mayuri will most likely stay behind. You'll notice I skipped Kenpachi because I will at least address Kenpachi. Because I think there's a very good chance that if captains are gone, Kenpachi's right on the list, but for different reasons than others here. I think Mayuri would be like, very well, it'd be interesting to study hell for a couple of centuries to a millennia. So, there's Mayuri's reason. There's plenty of reasons Mayuri could be gone. And I think Mayuri could be set up very much to be to be left behind or killed in some fashion. Although Mayuri's hard as hell to kill. Similarly, Kenpachi is hard to kill. But Kenpachi, I think, there could be a very interesting, Not trying to move that. There could be a very interesting story to why Kenpachi stays in hell. It's not because he's defeated or anything. It's because all like the former captains get sent to hell. That means and all these characters are possibly even buffed. He could spend the rest of his existence fighting hugely fierce opponents in hell for all of his existence. That is something he would relish. I could see him just offering to stay in hell just so we could fight all the other Kenpachis, fight Unohana again. Hell, I could literally see the shipping thing, like Kubo being like, yeah, I'm shipping you Unohana Kenpachi. You know what? Not only are they fighting together in hell, just having a ball, I could see them, like, I could see a panel where they just kind of grab each other, just embrace in, like, the most passionate kiss they could have before slicing down more opponents. Like, that could be an awesome way to end his story out. Now, personally, do I want to see Kenpachi get killed? Hell no. I love Kenpachi. He's one of my favorite characters. Do I want to see him end up staying in hell? No, I'd love to see him stick around. But if they were to say if there was a reason he'd have to stay in hell, I could see that being like the best way to kind of end out that kind of character. And that, it's just like, yes, he's getting what he's always wanted in life, with a woman with the closest thing to a love interest he's ever had, and them fighting for eternity in hell. Like, that would be awesome. But yeah, I think we'd lose Kenpachi too. So that leaves us still 6 captains. So it's not like it's not that bad, but it's still like they would need new captain. New captains just have to be brought in. Now, there's one character that needs to be addressed in this scenario that I will say right out the gate will not be a captain, and that is Ichigo. Despite the fact that Ichigo is a Soul Reaper, he's a human Soul Reaper. He's not a character I think would need to take up or should take up that position, because Ichigo is very unique among all the shonen protagonists, that he's not aiming to be the best that ever was. He's not aiming to be Hokage or King of the Pirates or the Wizard King or the greatest superhero in the world. He's a guy who ended up getting powers, and ultimately he just wanted a normal life. All he did was settle down, have a wife and kid. He have a family, have his friends nearby. Like, he get a job and just have a regular life. Yeah, on his part-time, he's still being a Soul Reaper, and he's still one of the strongest characters, but him joining the Gotei 13 actually doesn't make a lot of sense. At least to me. To me, it doesn't. So, yeah, that's where it is. So, the question becomes, what does the new Gotei 13 beyond these guys look like? Is anyone temporarily promoted to head captain? In their stead, if there's a temporary promotion, I think it's probably going to Toshiro. He's no doubt the strongest character of the remaining 6 here. Although we have not seen Isane, Iba, or Lisa's full capabilities. My guess is, even with visor mask from Lisa there, she's still not going to be able to beat Toshiro in a fight. Soifone would only be able to beat him if she were able to two-hit shot him, and even then, I think between his ice and the fact that he is one of the strongest captains, actually, currently, I don't think she'd be able to take him down. And then there's Rukia, who really just has a weird variation on his powers. It's more that it's because she controls cold, not ice. I don't think she'd be able to beat him. So Oshira's the strongest here, but he's still too young, frankly, to be made the head captain. The fact he's a captain at all is amazing, but there's no way he's going to be made head captain. So not only are they going to need a new head captain, they're going to need new captains in general. So let's break this down. Which order do I want to go in this? Let's start with, I'm going to start Squad 3, because we have to look at characters who are available to basically take over positions. So characters who have Bankai already, because they have to be captains they have to be captain class Shinigami who have Bankai. That is a prerequisite here. Is that they need Bankai. So we have to first go with all the characters we know have Bankais. So first and foremost, we still have a visor who's waiting in the wing here, and that is Love. Love is still a visor we could talk about. Now I see him actually taking over Squad 5. The reason I see this is due to the fact that, and there's Love. Hey, Love. And the reason for that is really just because Iba's the Squad 7 captain. And I don't see Love, who's a much older captain in character than Iba is, being picky about the squad he gets assigned to. So I could see him taking over Squad 5. Might be a bit of an adjustment, but I can see him doing that. Another character that we know has Bankai is fan favorite here, the good old red monkey himself, Renji Abarai, and that would be clear. He would take over for Byakuya. He's been Squad 6 lieutenant for probably hundreds of years at this point. And his mission, his goal in life was hopefully to surpass Byakuya Kuchiki. So what better way to surpass him and ultimately, carry on the legacy of Squad 6 than to take over as the lieutenant of Squad 6. So that's pretty clear, at least to me, that he'd be taking over that main mantle. Another character we know has Bankai, that it would just make sense that he would take over the certain position that he needs to take over, is hold on, Lisa, we'll just fix that right now, and then boom, right? No, that's what I want to do. Okay, no, that's not what I want to do. Lisa was supposed to be right there, and now she's there. Okay, so yeah, is Shuhei. I'll just move Toshiro over a little bit here. There we go. Is Shuhei. Obviously, it was in the Camp for Your Own World novel. Kyoraku even said, we need captains and you have Bankai. But he said, I think I'm going to stay with Squad 9 for right now. It would make sense, very similar to Iba, that he would become the next Squad 9 captain in memory of Tozen, and even Ken say this to some degree. It just makes sense that he would become the Squad 9 captain. The only other character who's still currently in the Gotei that we know as a Bankai, even though it's not as strong as it used to be, is Ikkaku. Ikkaku, even though he would not be Kenpachi Madarade, even though there's a scenario I can see where Ikkaku and Yumajika, wanting to stand behind their captain for all, maybe stay in hell with him. I have a feeling, no, that's not the case. Ikkaku would carry out the legacy of the Kenpachi, even though he would very much be one of the weaker Kenpachis to be around. Ikkaku's not weak by any stretch of the means. He certainly is not. But he is not a Kenpachi in terms of raw strength. That being said, he trains long enough. Sure, anyone trains long enough, they can get stronger. But yeah, that's not likely to happen here. So that said, there are 3 other characters with Bankai that we know have Bankai that I want to talk about. But there is at least one character I want to address here, and that's the Squad 3 captain. Now, here is a scenario where it could go to a character that has a Bankai, that we know has a Bankai, but I think it's also possible that there's characters who have Bankais we have not seen the Bankais for. And Kubo hinted at this when he talked about, characters getting Bankais or showing off Bankais. He mentioned Yumajika's and Izuru's. I have a feeling he's considered the Bankai for every character in this series before. But he commented that Izuru's would probably be very queasy. This implies that he already had a concept for Izuru's Bankai. So I have a feeling that maybe in the New Breaths of Hell chapter or arc, Izuru probably has Bankai at this point, or very likely has Bankai. So, and it would make sense that he would carry over the Squad 3 duties of both Rose and Gin, captains who he both respected for quite a lot. So it would make sense that Izuru would become the new Squad 3 captain. So this leads us now with Squad 12 and the head captain. And this is something where I had an initial idea, and then I'm like, I need to change the idea. So my initial idea for head commander, captain commander, Squad 1 captain, was Ishin. He's strong enough to, even though Aizen was kind of busy going toe-to-toe with a lot of characters at that point, he's strong enough to actually, triple team Aizen. He was not a weak captain. But the more I thought on it, the more I'm like, it actually would make more sense that he's one of the characters that has to, stay in hell or, do something to give up his life or something like that. This is due to the fact that this is truly the passing of the torch. Ishin passing on to Ichigo everything he has in life and, wishing well, maybe using his Bankai even though it's going to kill him because he's injured or something like that, and ultimately sacrificing himself. I actually see a scenario like that playing out much more than Ishin being able to take over for the head captain. So I kicked Ishin out of that, which leaves us now with just two characters who we know have Bankai. We've seen the Bankai of one of them, and the other one we know was a captain. And that leaves us with Yoruichi and Urahara. But the problem here is the 12th division. Because if you're gonna put my feet to the fire, Urahara, I think, is actually a really solid candidate to be the head captain. Because he's not... Take everything about his strength out of the equation, which he is insanely strong. There was a reason he was a war potential, too. It wasn't just... he was strong enough and intelligent enough to be a war potential. But Urahara's mentality... between Yoruichi and him, Yoruichi doesn't want to be the head of the research and development. No, she'd rather be on the field, or at least giving orders or something like that. Urahara obviously blends much better with the research and development because he's the one who founded the damn thing. So, as weird as to say, even though I think Urahara is a better fit for the head captain department, there he is, Urahara, I think Yoruichi, because Yoruichi is not a good fit for research and development, I think Yoruichi would most... And Yoruichi, we know, is no joke either. Yoruichi is extremely powerful. Without a Zanpakuto, even. Like, we've seen how strong she is even without her Zanpakuto. She claims, and can't fear your own world, she fights better without it than with it. Look, I get it, but when, the fate of existence is on the line, Yoruichi, you got a Zanpakuto that does have an ability there. I mean, maybe you just felt it wasn't going to be useful, but, the fans can want to see it. They want to see your Zanpakuto. Yoruichi is clearly someone who, a good example of this is, even though I think Urahara would ultimately beat Yoruichi in a fight, Yoruichi could probably beat the vast majority of these characters in a fight, without much difficulty at all. In fact, I'd be so bold to say she could, except for Urahara, I don't see any character really getting a win on her. We know she can beat Soifo in a fight. We saw that. I have a feeling she'd be able to beat Izuru in a fight, regardless of what his Bankai may or may not be. And this is all without her Zanpakuto, by the way, which we still don't even know what that does. She'd probably beat Isane. Isane's not a physical fighter in that sense. She most likely beat Tetsuzaya Love. She'd beat Tetsuzayamon, I feel confident in. Renji she'd beat. Lisa may be a little difficulty. Shinji Shinji's Bankai would probably be a little bit annoying. In theory, his Bankai could beat anyone theoretically, but he'd lose too. Toshiro's probably the one character she'd actually have legitimate difficulty with because of the strength of his Zanpakuto. And Urahara, I think, would beat Yoruichi. But yeah, I think Yoruichi being the head captain, but really consulting with Urahara on a regular basis about, what he thinks about a situation makes a lot of sense. So this, to me, if it happens, where we lose these captains, and if we get another next-gen Gotei, this, to me, assuming Urahara also doesn't, bite it, which I'd hate for that. He is my legit favorite character in Bleach. This would probably be my interpretation of the next Gotei 13. With Yoruichi being the head captain, you still have Soifo and Izuru taking Squad 3, Asane still being Squad 4. Sorry, I didn't even realize how what Beastgate looks like it's picking her nose. Hold on, let me move her over a little bit. There we go. That's not as bad now. But Asane Squad 4 still. Then I think Love would come in. Take over for Squad 5. Then you have Renji taking over for Byakuya, Squad 6. Tetsuzaya Eva for Squad 7 still. You have Lisa taking over still at Squad 8. Shinji taking his rightful place as the next Squad 9. Toshiro still staying at Squad 10. Ikkaku taking over Squad 11. And then Urahara being Squad 12 again, with Rukia being at Squad 13 still. So that, in my opinion, is what I think the next generation of the Gotei 13 would look like. And I can tell you right now, it's not an overly strong generation based on what we've seen. You got a couple heavy hitters here. It's kind of like the current generation, really, because you got a couple heavy hitters with Shunsui, Kenpachi, Toshiro, and Byakuya, and Mayuri. Those are like your big five. Everyone else is all right. They're all strong. They're captain class, sure, but they're not. Oh my God, it's this captain. Whereas here you have Yoruichi definitely is a heavy hitter. Urahara's a heavy hitter. Toshiro's a heavy hitter. Other than that, though, I mean, Renji, we know Renji's pretty damn strong. I don't know if he's a true heavy hitter, though, like that heavy hitter. And Rukia, I feel like, I don't know. I don't feel like she's a heavy hitter either. This would definitely be an even weaker generation than the previous one. They're all strong, obviously, and they can all definitely take out opponents. But if you were to put this generation, say, against the Espada, then I don't know. I don't know. Actually, that's a good question. Put this generation of the Gotei 13 against, and put them all in the same scenarios they were in the original one. Yeah, where you sent Kenpachi, so you'd send Ikaku, Mayuri, which would be Urahara, Byakuya, which would be Renji, and then Unohana, which would be Asane. You send them to Wako Mundo. How does that play out? I don't know if a Captain Class Ikaku at that point, who technically is Captain Class because he still has Bankai, would be able to beat Nuatora. Because he couldn't even beat a Fraction. But again, we're talking about them as captains at that point, so they're much stronger. And then you would get the remaining captains. Obviously you'd have to take Shinji. Well, no, I mean, I'm guessing because you'd have a full roster here, you'd have to measure it out a bit more. So I'm guessing maybe Shinji gets, or no, I think they'd send Love to Wako Mundo as well. Love would probably be very effective here. And then the rest are there, fighting out the good fight. Yeah, they would probably get your teeth kicked in, frankly. Because I don't see anyone here with an ability that could beat like Baragon, for instance. No, to be fair, Hachi, we don't know much about like Hachi Hiyori. I speculate they may have a Bankai, but we don't know. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I've been wanting to do this video for a little while now, so got it out. Now so I gotta do the rest of the videos today. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you for the next one. Have a good one, folks.